Who's going to be the next big-time prospect to commit to Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs? That's what we're talking about in today's video. Of course, the Dogs are on a roll, right? They are crushing it on the recruiting show right now. Yesterday, they landed a big-time offensive tackle, really one of the best offensive tackles in the country, in Ekene Agboko. And I think their next commitment could be right around the corner. Of course, you can read all about this and more over on dawgpost.com for free. There's not a lot of free stuff out there, but you can read all about this and a lot of other great Georgia Bulldog news, team, and recruiting news over on Dawg Post, and a lot of it's free right now. Again, so make sure you're checking that out, but definitely want to come on here and share which targets are coming off the board, which targets might be leaning Georgia's way, and what you can expect from the Georgia Bulldogs on the recruiting show for the next several weeks. Of course, these guys are finishing up official visits. A lot of them are ready to make their commitments, and some of them have scheduled their commitment date already. And I do think Georgia sits in a pretty good position for a lot of these guys, okay? So let's jump right into it. The first guy I want to talk about is someone that I've talked a lot about recently, so I'll probably keep it brief. But Kamari Brooks, a four-star edge defender, one of the best pass rushers, not only in the state of Georgia, but across the South, maybe across the country. He is down to Georgia and Alabama. If you've been following this channel, if you've been over on Dawg Post reading my recruiting updates, you've known about that all spring, right? I told everyone a long time ago, this one's going to come down to Georgia and Alabama, and he made that official recently. And he also said, I'm committing on June 23rd. I think this will be a tough pill to swallow for the Dogs. I think Georgia leads. Again, he's a local kid, big-time pass rusher, and a guy that I think will probably end up staying close to home. Picking Alabama would not shock me. It would surprise me. I'm not ruling them out just yet. He was in Athens for an official visit May 30th. He was at Alabama the week later, June 4th. And this is a guy that has been one of the more productive defenders at any part of the defense across the state. He had 131 tackles last season, 17 tackles for a loss, 13 sacks. The dude forces fumbles. He plays tight end on offense. He plays on special teams. The guy does it all. He's a big-time player with plenty of size, 6'4", 235, and I like where Georgia sits right here. He comes off the board June 23rd. Another guy that I've talked a lot about, I promise I'm going to talk about new guys, but these guys have made, or scheduled their commitments. Craig Dandridge, four-star wide receiver out of Cambridge High School in Milton/Alpharetta, Georgia, Georgia Tech, Stanford, Oklahoma, Tennessee. A lot of schools in the mix. He's one of the fastest rising wide receivers, not only in the state, but across the South, maybe across the country. His recruitment blew up in January. Georgia put him on the recruiting board, and he shot up their board this spring. He is elusive. He is fast. He can stretch the field. He can help you in the screen and short passing game. He can create separation. He's quick. He's twitchy, and he's got pretty decent size, 6'1", 175. So he's not small. Was one of the more productive wide receivers in Georgia last fall as a junior. 58 catches, 1,443 yards, 14 touchdowns every single week. This guy was making play after play after play. He was in Athens for his official visit the weekend of May 30th. I was told that Georgia knocked it out of the park, and he will make his decision June 26th. June 26th, Craig Dandridge coming off the board. I can totally see him in Athens, and if that happens, Georgia fans should be thrilled. Desmond Green is a three-star offensive lineman that I thought Georgia was probably the team to beat this spring. I thought this was a Georgia-South Carolina battle. Right now, I'm starting to think it's South Carolina-Florida. The Dogs already have three interior offensive linemen, all from the state of Georgia. They don't need to take a fourth. So I do think that when Desmond Green comes off the board June 26th, probably not going to be Georgia. A guy that they could land, and they still could land Desmond Green, but a guy they want more, a guy they want badly, is Malachi Lee, a four-star out of Hawaii. Stacey Searles went to go see him twice from Athens to Hawaii, where he's from. He was in Athens for his official visit in April to watch G-Day. He was back in town this last weekend. Georgia, Michigan, Alabama, and Texas are the teams involved. He's the number 11 offensive tackle prospect in the country, and he's making his decision June 27th. So I've talked about those guys before. Let's move on. Let's talk about some new guys. Xavier Crowell coming off the board June 26th. He's from Alabama. Georgia would love to have this guy. He is elite, one of the best running backs in the country. I would be surprised if he left the state and did not choose Alabama. Big deal. He took a big official visit to Georgia. That's why I'm talking about him, but I do not think they are going to land him. 5-star linebacker Xavier Griffin, a guy that Georgia would love to have. Doesn't look like they're going to land him. Probably shouldn't be talking a whole lot about the guys that I just don't think are going to Georgia, but they took visits, or they're from the state. That's why I'm talking about them. So we can give some updates on some other guys, but Xavier Griffin was a former Southern Cal commitment. He's got ties to Alabama, but Texas, I think, is the team trending. He was in Austin, Texas this past weekend, and it looks like the Longhorns have some momentum. I think that'll come down to Alabama and Texas, but plays out of Gainesville. Georgia wanted him. They recruited him, but doesn't look like they are going to land him unless something crazy happens. Preston Carey is a fine 4-star defensive lineman out of IMG Academy. I think other programs are pushing for him a little bit harder. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm just telling you what I'm hearing. He comes off the board June 30th, but looks like he's probably headed elsewhere. Safety Jure Edwards, that guy's a baller out of Maryland, St. Francis Academy. That's a guy that I thought Georgia was probably the team to beat for, when he was making those visits to Georgia. He's already taken his official. And it looked like Georgia had the momentum there. It does feel like Alabama is the team trending now. But he is a hard-hitting safety with size who can cover. He is a big deal and a guy that the Georgia staff, again, would love. But I think they're playing catch-up to Alabama right now. Chauncey Kennan is a 4-star. Or Dre Edwards comes off the board July 5th, by the way. Chauncey Kennan, a 5-star or a 4-star cornerback, depending on what outlet you look at. He's coming off the board, July 6th. He was in Athens. Don't think Georgia's going to land him, but we'll see where things go. However, a linebacker that I do or can see in Athens is Nick Abrams out of the McDonough School in Maryland. A guy who's always had really good things to say. The kid goes on and on about Glenn Schumann. I thought Georgia had some momentum. Actually, they did have momentum with him after his official visit a few weeks ago. Michigan is very much involved, if I can get my words out. Alabama, also a team in the mix. I don't quite remember who the 4th team is. Probably should have looked it up. Maybe I'll do that right now. Let's go to my notes and see. This is bad podcasting. I apologize. But, okay, Nick Abrams. Where is he? This is so bad. I'm just moving on. Oh, okay. 6'2", 220. Sorry, this is really bad. He made 77 tackles last year, 9 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, 1 interception. He's the number 14 linebacker, number 209 overall, and he comes off the board July 16th. Here's what he's had to say about Georgia in the past. I think the official visit that he took, added on to everything I already know. Georgia's a great university. They're elite in football, and they're elite in the classroom as well. Coach Schumann is great at putting guys in the league. It's crazy because he has 3 Butkus Award winners at the age of 35, which is insane. The atmosphere that Coach Smart is creating is something I can see myself being a part of. Their pitch is simple. You come to Georgia to get developed as a football player and as a man. You have a high chance out of any school in the past 3 years to hear your name called on draft night. You will also get a degree from a top 20 university in the country. Kind of spit out right there. I hope you didn't see that. I talk fast sometimes. I'm in here by myself. I'm not talking to someone else. So I can somewhat ramble a little bit. I don't mean to. Nick Abrams, definitely got to keep an eye on. Tyler Atkinson, though, is the big prize. Wouldn't surprise me if he ended things sooner than later. He told me after his visit that these are probably the last visits to these schools that he's going to take before he makes a decision. He'll be at Texas this weekend, Clemson, Oregon, Ohio State, also in the mix. I can see him ending up at Georgia. I don't know if, I wouldn't say I think Georgia leads anymore. I know I basically said that his entire recruitment because I believe that to be true. I don't know. I don't know where he's going to end up anymore. It still could be Athens. I mean, Georgia has everything he's looking for, right? He can be developed by the best linebackers coach in college football. He can play an hour away. I get all that, but other schools are making it really tough on Georgia as well. He could be coming off the board in the next couple weeks, but he does not have a scheduled commitment. Caden Prothro, a 4-star tight end out of Bowden. I think Georgia sits in a really good position for him. I think he's going to be coming off the board soon, but he has not announced. I think Georgia probably leads Auburn and Florida. I think Texas is involved there too. Alabama, I still think is involved there. But Georgia, I know, sits in a really good position. Wouldn't surprise me if he up and come, just one day woke up and said, you know what, I'm committing today. Could be Georgia if that happens in the next 2, maybe 3 weeks. Jay Lamar is a running back that I believe will be in Athens this upcoming weekend. That might be his final visit. That's another guy that has not said yet, hey, I'm committing on this day. But next week, in 2 weeks, if he just says, you know what, I'm ready to make my decision, I've taken all my visits, he could be coming off the board very soon. So again, I do think Georgia will have some good news coming their way over the next 2 or 3 weeks into July. Make sure you're heading over to Dawg Post for the latest. There's a lot of updates coming soon. This is a big time to be following Georgia Bulldog recruiting. They're hot. They're one of the hottest teams on the recruiting show right now. And you want to make sure you are on Dawg Post for the latest and greatest updates that you will find. Really appreciate y'all watching. I know I ramble a little bit. I know I talk fast, but I appreciate y'all staying with me. And you can read more about this that I'm reading right here over on Dawg Post for free. So make sure you're checking that out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you over on Dawg Post.